Hey all, welcome to the Institute and this week's Top 10. With the terrific show The Penguin just ending, I thought we would do a top 10 of my favorite Penguin action figures. Now, these are action figures. These are not the statues and busts. I could do a whole probably top 10 of those too. But these are just action figures, and these are some of my favorites. We're going to start out over here in the red and gray sections. That's really the only place we're going to be. That's Batman and DC sections. And we're going to swing down around here and talk about the first one, which is going to be from the Justice League Unlimited. It's kind of a weird figure. I really like the cartoony style I went with from the Justice League Unlimited and its cartoons, but you'll notice he's kind of chunky. It's not really that he's too tall for the line. Seems to me like this guy came in a box set, as I'm trying to remember, but he was a little unusual for the line. But I like him a lot. I think he's a pretty cool little figure. So he's going to get number 10. Number 9 is another one that came in from the animated series. This one made a big deal for everybody, right? So we have here the Kenner version from Batman the Animated Series. And back there we have the carded version. And up here in front we have a nice loose version. This guy, everybody went nuts for at the time. He was easily the hardest one to get. I'm not sure that he's still the hardest one to get in the series. But at that time, he certainly was popular. And everybody wanted that one. So he's getting the number 9 spot. The number 8 spot, you know, one of the problems for the Penguin is he doesn't get a lot of variation in design. So they tried to go out there with the Legends of the Dark Knight with a slightly different one. This is another Kenner line. And this whole line, of course, did some really wild designs. So that one at least let them get a little bit crazier with the Penguin, not a ton. In the number 7 spot comes another one where they kind of try to do that over here. This is DC Direct. And this is their Secret Files version. Again, like I said, poor Penguin, he doesn't really get, you know, he's always in the same outfit. Doesn't get a lot of variation in the designs, like some of the other characters, like, you know, Scarecrow, who's had some really wild designs over the years. McFarlane did one recently, and I picked that one up. I don't do a lot of the McFarlane DC toys, but this is a really nicely articulated Penguin. He came in 2 different color schemes. He's a lot of fun. Easily gets my number 6 spot, and I was really happy with how he turned out. Number 5, speaking of McFarlane, let's swing around over this way. McFarlane did, of course, another version of the Penguin for the 1966 Batman series. However, that's this guy over here. He is not getting the number 5 spot. It's a little too thin and straight in terms of his posture for me. The head sculpt's not bad, but I think the Mattel version, done a few years earlier back there in the corner, is a better representation of the way Burgess Meredith looked on screen. So he's getting the number 5 spot. The number 4 spot, speaking of Mattel, also goes to them with their terrific line, DC Universe Classics. Unlike that Justice League version, this one really does fit in nicely with the rest of the series. He's an interesting look. And again, nicely articulated, as was all of the DC UC figures. Number 3 is a classic. This design is in the number 3 spot, not necessarily because it's my favorite design of all time, but because it got used multiple times. The Superpowers version. Here he is the Superpowers version. He got reused by Toy Biz for their comic superheroes line. He got reused by Kenner for their Batman Returns line, even though it looks nothing like the Batman Returns Penguin. So it's a classic design. Everybody loved it. Number 3. Number 2 is another Batman the Animated Series figure. This time done by DC Direct. One of my favorite figures they did in the series. Right here, still carded. I love their interpretation. I think they did a fantastic job capturing the animated look. The only other version I have that really captures that animated look as well is the mini bust. It's the only other time I think that they really captured this look well. So that's the number 2. But the number 1, I bet you can guess it. If you can grab a hold of one of these, I think you can still get them. the NECA quarter scale penguins from Batman Returns. Catwoman's fantastic too, as is the Batman. But the two penguins are amazing. And if you're going to only get one, I would get the mayor version on the right. That's my #1 favorite penguin in my collection. So, what's your favorite penguins? There's been plenty of them. Let me know. Make sure you subscribe. Hopefully you're having a great collecting week. And until on Wednesday when we do another favorite collection video, have a great week.